our property rights have been affected by what's happened in New York. And we're fortunate that Congressman Tom Reed has been fighting for this issue, fighting on this issue for us here in New York and in the United States Congress. He's formed a property rights caucus. And here today we have our representative, or his representative, Joe Sempolinski, who's going to speak about these issues and kind of update us on where Congressman Reed has been on the Property Rights, Defense of Property Rights Act. Joe?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me again to come speak to the joint landowners, and thanks for everything that you all are doing, as you say, keeping the faith and keep fighting for your property rights and for the rights to use that property as you see fit. So as was stated, I'm Joe Sempolinski. I'm Congressman Reed's district director. Tom wishes he could be here, and when I tell him how good the food was, he's really going to wish he could have been here. So thanks to the folks here who are cooking for us. And I want to give a little update. As many of you know, we've been pushing a bill, it's called DOPRA. Everything in Washington's got to have an acronym. That's the Defense of Property Rights Act. And the idea for that came out of what Andrew Cuomo did to you all, did to the state of New York, taking away the rights to access to your property. And this really resonated with Tom. Most of his district lies over the Marcellus Shale Formation. It's a rural district. This district deals with a lot of rural poverty. Deals with folks that are trying to keep their family farms. Deals with folks that are trying to start small businesses and have economic activity. And then you have the governor come along and prevent a safe practice that's being practiced throughout the country from being done here, preventing massive economic investment in the southern tier. Very frustrating. So Tom said, maybe we can do something about that. And we introduced a bill that that will, when it's passed, make it legal for you to get redress for partial takings. And to get into that a little bit, if the government built a road on your property and you lose all access to it, well, they got to pay you for that. But currently, if they just take an action that diminishes the value of your property, let's say, for instance, if you had mineral rights and you can't access them anymore and their worth goes down, there's no redress within federal or state court for that. We're going to try and fix that. But this is turning into something a little bit bigger, because as I was saying to some of the folks when I was talking to them earlier, if you just talk about natural gas in New York State, well, there's one or two members of Congress, a couple of them that have that as an issue for their constituents. You start talking about government abusing property rights, and then you have a coalition throughout the country. And obviously, you're going to need coalition throughout the country to pass anything as federal legislation. And so we've been, as was stated, forming a property rights caucus. We've got several dozen members of Congress that are concerned about these issues, that have joined that caucus and started the conversation in Washington, D.C. about what can we do about it, what can we do about government overreach. We've had hearings in the Judiciary Committee and the House of Representatives. We've engaged groups that go well beyond mineral rights, folks that are large landowners, especially out in the western portion of the country, folks that are forest landowners, folks whose businesses have to do with the use of land, folks that have wetlands on their properties, folks that are concerned about what the government's going to tell them they can and can't do with their property. And so that message has been getting out there, that movement's been building, that coalition's been growing, and we're very hopeful that we're going to continue to move that forward and eventually put DOPRA into law. And this is important because, it goes well beyond just drilling in New York. It goes to the relationship that you have with your government. And this would be a bill that isn't just the federal government, it's also the state government, it's also county governments, it's local governments. That if people are going to take action as government officials, they have to take into consideration not just the benefits that they claim that are going to happen, but the people that are going to be hurt by it, the individuals that are going to be hurt by it. And we've had, throughout New York State, we've seen it, but throughout the country, governments taking actions that have infringed on people's rights. It's not right for them to do that. We're going to give people a way they can get some redress for that. So how can you help? When you came in, there was a place to sign, a little petition type thing, a little letter to us telling us you support this bill, support the ability for folks to get redress for what happened to them in New York State. I encourage you to sign that. We're distributing, trying to get municipalities and counties, we've had several of them throughout New York, pass resolutions in support of this bill. So if you happen to serve on a town board, or maybe have a friend that does, or a town supervisor, county legislator, reach out to them and say, hey, let's do what some of these other municipalities have done and show our support for this. That's something you can do very tangibly. Also, we support candidates that are going to stand up for you. We got someone in Crouch who does a great job for us in Albany. Thank you. I see Fred in the back. There he is. Fred just proved he's a different type of politician. I'm the guy who's supposed to be sued, and he looks like a regular person. So there we go. He's a different type of politician. He's going to run a different type of campaign. So, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Fred, but the biggest supporter of the lady Fred's running against is Andrew Cuomo. So, that's a way right there. A wonderful. There you go. That's a way right there where you can change the conversation a little bit in Albany by supporting candidates that are going to go do the right thing and stand up for you. So I'm going to stick around. People have any particular specific questions for me about what Tom Reed's doing in Washington or doing here in the district, I'll be happy to answer those questions with you, but it's always an honor to speak to the Landowners Coalition groups, and we stand with you, we're fighting for you, and I have a lot of respect for the spirit you have standing up to folks like Governor Cuomo and not taking no for an answer on these very, very important issues. So thank you very much, real honor to be here.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for making the trip out from Corning today. This issue that Joe is talking about and that Congressman Reed is working on is really crucial. And we're asked all the time about the takings claims. So can't we just go ahead and file a takings claim now that our rights have been affected? And the answer is that it's not that simple, because the law says that you have to have the predominant value of your property taken. So for many of us who own both the surface and the subsurface, if you take all of our subsurface away, that's one element of your property rights. But the other part, the surface portion of that, has value. And that value might be enough to defeat, probably is enough to defeat, the takings claim. So Congressman Reed has looked at these issues and said, hey, we need to address that. It's not fair that a government can come in and take that substantial right from us. So let's address that by coming up with the Defense of Property Rights Act that says that if you take away 20% of the value of my property or something more than $20,000, then that's enough for me to make a claim. That's what Congressman Reed is working on. It's why it's so crucial for us to be able to support him, because that legislation directly impacts what we might be able to do with our properties and defending our property rights into the future. So please continue to support Congressman Reed. And Joe, thank you, and thank you, Congressman Reed, for your efforts. Thank you. Now, so we've had a voice that has been with us and helpful for us and arguing for our cause for several years. I remember going back to the rallies in Albany and every single event that we've been to. Assembling Cliff Crouch has been there all along the way with us. He's been a great friend to landowners and property rights issues, and we're very happy to have him here at our Clam Bake today. Assemblyman Clifford Crouch.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here and speak to you. I want to thank everybody for coming, and thanks for your diligence and support of this joint landowners group, because it's through your support, continued support, that we can still get information out and have people show up at the appropriate places and times. And that's going to be crucial as we move forward. I was amazed, as we all were, when the governor said, well, we're not going to do any drilling. It's probably as little as 2 months prior to the announcement, my office had routinely been in touch with DEC because, people would email me or call or something and then say, well, we shouldn't be drilling because of this or this. So I would reach out to DEC oftentimes and get a good answer for it. And if I didn't already know it, we sought the right answer. And up until about 2 months, everything was fine. And then suddenly it's not fine. I was at a meeting just the other day and talking to 2 DEC officials. But they're not out in the field, they're in the administrative piece. They couldn't understand it either. They had to agree with it. And so I think we've really been dealt a bad thing here, because we all know it's safe. We put our heart and soul into supporting it. And thank God for people like Congressman Reed that are willing to step up and provide the legislation that help us get our property rights back. But stay strong, stay involved, please. I'm, always on your side in the assembly. I debate against the moratorium bills or anything like that comes up, and we try to make our voice heard. So appreciate you being here, appreciate your support, and I'm glad to see Fred Akshar here because he's going to be a good voice for our district in the Senate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cliff. Cliff demonstrates how important it is to make sure that we have got representatives for us, speaking for us on these issues. And that's true in the New York State Assembly. It's certainly true in the New York State Assembly, or New York State Senate, and Congress, and even at the local level. Right? But this local fight has been going on for quite some time. Don't forget the local level, because we know that some people out there are not forgetting it, and they're continuing to put their people on the board. When the time comes, you've got to make sure that your boards are prepared for that. The zoning issue is one that many town boards are still working on. You've got to make sure that you've got people that are favorable to us on our issues in position on those boards. So it's really crucial across the board to make sure that we've got the right representatives that are working with us on these issues. As we were standing here, Bob Williams came up to me and he said, "Oh, and by the way, remember I live in Windsor, and think about the fact that the Windsor taxes, school taxes were reduced by 6% when laser pipeline came through." So the pipelines are really one element of what we're doing. Keep in mind that pipeline infrastructure is crucial in order to get your gas to market, right? When we're able to drill, we're not going to be able to get anything out of that unless you can get your gas to market. You have to be paid for it. That has to be through pipelines. When you look at everything that's happening in Pennsylvania right now, and you look at the price of gas and why it's fairly low, a factor in that is that there is not enough infrastructure to get it to market. That has also affected prices. But as the analysts look at this and they see that more pipelines are coming online, especially in northern Pennsylvania and hopefully in New York, that is going to have an impact on price. It is also going to have an impact on development. It's very difficult to have widespread development unless you've got the infrastructure to get the gas to market. So the pipelines are a crucial element in how all of that comes together. Now, our next speaker is here. This goes along with why it's so important to make sure that we've got a voice for our issues. Somebody that is there, willing to fight for us. I can tell you that the JLC leadership has met with him personally, and Fred Akshar is that voice that we have to have. We talked to Fred. He's sent a letter supporting the natural gas issues, natural gas development in New York, and committing to fight for these issues in New York. It's so crucial that we've got someone like Fred there. The other thing that everybody here has to keep in mind is that when we look at what happens in New York, we certainly know where our governor stands on a lot of these issues. But the New York State Senate has been able to hold off a lot of anti-gas legislation in New York. So it could be far more worse in New York if the balance of power shifted in the New York State Senate. Right now, the Republicans have the majority. What we need to do is put someone like Fred Akshar in place. Let him fight for us. Let him fight for our issues. He's been out there fighting crime as a sheriff, the Broome County Sheriff's Department. Now it's time to put him in position so he can continue that fight in the New York State Senate. We're very pleased to introduce Fred Akshar.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and Scott, thank you. I'll keep this very short. I want everybody to know that I'm a proud supporter of this issue, and unlike my opponent, I'm not going to flip or flop on the issue. The most important thing I want everybody here to know is that I'm not a puppet to the governor. I'm not beholden to him, and I think what's important is that for my entire career, I've taken time to listen to people, listen to what their issues were, and find meaningful solutions to those issues. And I think the people in this district, and quite frankly through the state, are speaking loud and clear, and we want our rights. And if I'm successful in November, I make the commitment to each of you that I will stand up for you and fight for what's right. And at the end of the day, I think that's what people need. I'll join, if we're successful, my colleague in the Assembly, our colleagues in Congress, and ensure that we properly represent you and represent the issues that are important to you. So we're working hard every single day, but I can't be successful unless I get the help from the folks like yourself out here. It's important that we go out and vote in November. And to echo what Scott said, this race is extremely important. If we are not successful in November, New York City is going to score a huge victory, and nobody wants that upstate. It's a very scary thought if we end up losing in November, what could happen to upstate interests. So we're working hard every day, and I hope that I can gain your support over the next couple of months. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, so I just want to wrap up a little bit. We have Bob Williams, part of the JLC board, and just wanted to give everybody an opportunity to see if they've got questions that you want to ask. Talk about where we might be going. I mean, Bob has a couple things about some of the things with respect to pipelines, especially about.
Yeah, we talked a little while ago about what the benefit is for people, and I gave a brief talk at a hearing in Windsor not too long ago, because one of the things that the village of Windsor is looking to is to have Leatherstocking come in and actually put gas into the village. Well, putting gas into the village will do two things for the village. First off, it'll save the school district all by itself $250,000 a year. That has nothing to do with taxes. That's just the savings they're going to get from getting off of fuel oil and onto natural gas. The school district, so they can do something with that $250,000 and not take any money out of anybody's pocket. In addition to that, Scott mentioned before about the school district's taxes going down by 6%. Well, the Windsor School District and the Deposit School District have an added benefit here, because they've got not only the laser pipeline going through Windsor, which lowered our taxes by 6%. We also have the Bluestone pipeline, which is over in the east part of Windsor and Sanford, which is going to provide tax money to the school districts there also. And we also have going through that part of Broome County, the Constitution pipeline, and sometime in the distant future, maybe the Tennessee pipeline. So there's going to be a tremendous impact, not just for people who are on the pipelines, but for everybody who lives in the area in terms of the tax base. It's going to be a huge difference.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming. Continue to stay here, enjoy the clams, enjoy the food, and again, keep the faith. We've got to keep working to make this happen. Thanks, everyone.